Now, while Halloween isn't quite here yet, it is coming in hot. Stores are already selling Halloween themed items and scary movies are ready to be watched. However, nothing gets people more in the mood than a scary game, specifically paranormal games. So today on Top 5 Scary Videos, I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 5 scary cursed games you should never play, and of course, there are a ton of options to choose from, so honourable mentions go out to the Ouija board, Bloody Mary and Candyman. Before we begin, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. Let's jump in. In at 5, Charlotte's Web. Now this game has quite an interesting legend. According to some backstory, Charlotte was a 7-year-old girl whose mother was accused of practicing illegal witchcraft and was burnt to death, after which it was believed that Charlotte had escaped into the woods. Now to begin the game you must enter a room with another person. 2 people is a must. Place 2 chairs in it, each with a distance of 2 feet facing them in the same direction. You then must place a mirror in front of the chairs in a way that you can see their reflection while being seated. Before you sit down, you must now place a table behind the chairs in a way that it can be seen in the mirror when no one is seated. You then must place a toy on the table, again in a way so you can see it in the reflection. Turn on the flashlight and turn off all other lights in the room. Now both people should sit down in the chairs and look at the mirror. Repeat together, we want to play Charlotte's Web. Continue to look at the mirror. Do not take your eyes away from it. Specifically, keep your eyes on the toy in the mirror, if it's still there that is. Don't turn around no matter what. Just keep looking at the toy. If the ghost takes the toy, that means she is pleased and wants attention, and in turn might want to talk. You may ask questions one at a time without turning around, once again focusing on the mirror. In order to end the game, simply say together, "Goodbye Charlotte." Again, do not turn around until you see that the toy is gone, and that the girl has wandered off from the reflection in the mirror. Then immediately turn all the lights on. A side note, when playing the game you must only, and I mean only, use a flashlight. Do not use a flame because, as we know, the girl's mother was burnt at the stake, and that may scare her away, plus it's just rude. In at 4, Dry Bones. Similar to a few other games coming up on our list, Dry Bones is equally as horrifying, but unlike the others on our list, there is a prize at the end of this one, if you get lucky that is. The game must be played alone and is a game that specifically summons a demon, so be warned. To play you must first turn off all the lights in your house. Classic. Then light a candle and go into a room with a mirror exactly 12:01 AM. Now what you do next is a little tricky and very creepy. You must stare into a mirror until you feel the presence of someone or something other than yourself in the room. Once you feel another presence with you, you must tell the demon, "I acknowledge your presence and welcome you into my house for a game of hide and seek till 3 AM. I acknowledge your presence and welcome you into my house for a game of hide and seek till 3 AM. You can come in now." After saying this, you have to run and find the best hiding spot you can without making any noise whatsoever. The aim here is to not, and I mean not, get caught. If you manage to stay hidden till 3 AM, the game is over and you have won the game. You then have to go into the biggest room in the house and announce that the game is over and that the demon is no longer welcome in your home. However, before leaving, the demon will grant you a winning present. When he does this, you should be able to hear his voice right behind you. However, if you lose the game, well, I think we all know what happens then. You dead. In at 3, One Man Hide and Seek. Now there are a few requirements for this game, so listen very carefully. You will need a pair of nail clippers, a sack of uncooked rice, a stuffed doll with proper limbs, a cup of salt water, a TV, red thread, a needle, a sharp-edged knife or a pair of scissors, incense, a bathtub, and of course, like the name says, you will need a hiding place. Now to begin, you'll use a sharp knife or a pair of scissors to cut open the doll and remove its stuffing. Then fill the doll with the uncooked rice, clip one of your fingernails and place it into the doll along with the rice. Then stitch the doll with the red thread and without cutting it, wrap the remaining thread around the doll. You then must fill up the bathtub with water and purify the room in which the ritual is being performed with incense. Then place a television in the room. Now place a cup of salt water in your hiding spot and give a name to the doll. At 3 AM precisely you must repeat, "Your name is the first it" to the doll. Then submerge the doll in the bathtub and leave it there. Turn off the light and go to your hiding spot and turn on the TV. Close your eyes, count to 10, and once done, take the scissors or knife and go near the tub. Next, you remove the doll from the tub and repeat, "I have found you." doll's name, then cut off the red thread and repeat "You are the next it," and then say the doll's name again, and then put the doll back in the tub. Return to your hiding spot and remain silent. Fill your mouth with salt water and hold it. Do not swallow it. Hold the remaining water in the cup. Now start looking for the doll because it may no longer be in the place you left it. When found, pour the remaining water onto the doll as well as the water in your mouth. Repeat, "I win," to the doll. Once the game is done, allow the doll to dry, burn it, and get rid of the burnt remains. According to the legend of the game, it is believed that the rice represents the internal organs of the doll, luring the spirit toward it. Red thread, on the other hand, represents blood vessels, and cutting it off releases the spirit inside. Once started, the game must be finished, otherwise you may meet a gruesome end. In it too, the midnight game. One of the scariest games on the list has to be started before midnight. It is a game to begin with, but once it begins, the game ends. You'll see why. Originally, it was believed that the game was a punishment for those who demystified the laws of gods and is very much like an ancient pagan ritual. For those wishing to play the game, you must begin with a piece of paper with your full name and a small amount of your own blood that you must drip onto the paper. Allow the paper to soak up the blood and proceed by calling out the dark, aka just turn off all the lights. You then must place the paper with a lit candle on top of it in front of a wooden door. The door should be closed. Then knock on the door 22 times, calculating the final knock exactly when the clock strikes 12. Open the door now, and then blow out the candle to invite the midnight man inside. If you dare, that is. You then must continue to move around the house until 3:33 AM to keep away from the midnight man with a newly lit candle. However, if the flame goes out or if you don't light it in 10 seconds, there is a possibility of being caught. It is believed that if the candle goes out or you don't light it in time, you should enclose yourself in a circle of salt and should not attempt to come out before 3:33 AM. Once this is complete, turn the lights on and the game is over. And finally, in at number 1, the Hooded Man. This game is not for the faint-hearted, trust me. It is believed to create a link to a world that is drastically different from our own. To play the game, you must shut all the doors, windows, draw the curtains, turn off the lights, and unplug all electronic devices in your home. During the game, you must carry only a watch for the entire ritual, and anything that holds power must be kept away. You must then count to 13, sit at the telephone and dial the haunted number 204-96888. Then tie a black cord to the receiver and repeat the dial, but this time with a different number, i.e. 255-15823. Repeating this, counting till 13 and say, "Hello, I need a cab," into the receiver. Then replace the previous black cord with the second one and burn the initial cord. Outside the window, a cab will now be parked. Get into the back seat of it, lock the door and go to sleep. A short while later you will wake up. Check your watch. If it strikes 3:30 AM, go back to sleep. However, if it shows a time other than 3:30, exit the cab immediately and return to your home. However, if you wake up the second time, you will find the cab being driven on a highway by a man wearing a hood. Don't freak out or try to escape. What you must do is whisper into the man's ear that you have reached your destination. Then you must fall back to sleep one more time. When you wake up the third time, you will find yourself back at home. Once inside, dial the number 200082 and say, "Thank you for the ride." Untie the black cord from the phone and burn it like the previous ones. This is important. Do not forget to bury the ashes of the cords in the ground. Otherwise, the entire game may fail. Once done, sprinkle some salt on the burial site and follow up with a cleansing ritual. Easy, right? Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Were there any cursed games that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos. Top 5 scariest monsters created by Stephen King part 2. Thorin693 said, "All hail Lucy, the pale goddess, she who rules them all." Damn straight, bow down to me. Peasants. Lord Vulcan said, "Can you do a top 5 reasons why It Chapter 2 was awful? God, that movie sucked." This is the exact reason I haven't seen the movie yet. I don't want to be met with disappointment. I'll probably watch it on Netflix. Duke Spookum said, "I have an original first print hardback of Cujo, just felt like flexing that fact." Flex away. Mad respect. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary vid. Until next time, see you later.